Hey guys, this is Jay with the Douchebag Brigade, and today we're going to be doing another episode of the new series that I'm doing based on an idea that I got based off another YouTuber, big Megaten YouTuber, Nyarly, with his underused demons video he did recently. So this is my overused, basically, and repetitively, not overused, but consistently used, including the storyline. So these are demons who are not only being included in multiple games, but this is really about the fact that they are included in the actual story of these games on a repetitive basis. So today we're going to be doing Thor. So Thor has been a staple in Megaten since the first Shin Megami Tensei game. He wasn't in Megaten 1 and 2 that I'm aware of. Megami 1 and Megami 2 that I'm aware of. However, I don't know if he was reinserted in the re-release of it on Super Nintendo. I'm not 100% sure. But either way, he was not a story focus in those games. And so the first game that we're going to talk about is going to be Shin Megami Tensei 1, in which he actually plays the key story portion to being a messenger from God in disguise of a human. And so originally he is an American ambassador to Japan in the beginning of the game, under the disguise of Thorman. And so essentially what we learn is that while he's in this disguise, he basically is testing to see what humans are worthy of and things like that. And so whether you decide to work for him, work for the bad guys, well, the chaotic people, it doesn't really matter, because in the end what ends up happening is he still decides that everything has to go to chaos, or, well, has to be destroyed. And so he ends up essentially causing nuclear explosions, causing the game to go into its demonic format for later. And so one thing I noticed in this game that was a lot of fun was his introduction was just great. And so he's actually sent, and it's great to see the cross culture coming in here. He was sent by basically God to do this, to carry out this mission. And so he comes and he does that. And so obviously we can't deny the massive amount of storyline that's affected by him being in the game. Then in Shin Megami Tensei 2, he's only briefly mentioned. His not even Thor as really a whole. Thorman is mentioned as having been the reason for the cataclysm and the separation and everything that went wrong. So he's mentioned in the storyline in SMT2, which I think is a nice little follow-up to Shin Megami Tensei 1. He's then brought up again with more relevance in Shin Megami Tensei 3. Now, this one does not seem relative to 1 and 2. This one seems completely partial to those games. In this one, it turns out that he is in the actual chaos area, chaotic area, when you're going and choosing which faction basically you feel you want to go with, what alignment. And he's actually one of your challenges to even see if you're strong enough to go forward. So it's almost like they flipped exactly what he was from his very lawful beginnings to now his more strength rules everything around me, dollar bills, y'all. And so he pretty much becomes a strength is what matters guy in Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne or Shin Megami Tensei 3. And I thought that was a cool take and iteration and change, keeping things fresh. And it still had a lot to do with him making a big portion of the story. Now, after this, he is basically relevant in all of the in Persona 3, 4, 5. Though he doesn't play any kind of story role. He is the highest arcana in the Chariot Arcana, the highest persona in the Chariot Arcana that you can get, social link maxed out. You can unleash him, all of that. But again, not story related. In Devil Survivor 1, he's actually mentioned as his human form. The 68-year-old Thorman died of heart failure. So he even gets a brief little mention, his old school human form, in Devil Survivor 1, which is very cool, since Devil Survivor 1 really kind of retracts and redoes Shin Megami Tensei 1 in a lot of ways. It's kind of like, okay, when everything got kind of sent into chaos and destroyed, what if we found out prior to that there was another group of people other than the main hero or main character of Shin Megami Tensei 1 trying to fix everything? So it's an interesting take on things that were happening in the actual universe of Megaten at that point. So again, I think it's really cool that they had a throwback to Thorman, basically Thor, in that game. Outside of that, Shin Megami Tensei 4, you have the ability to have a Save the Old Man quest where you run into him. I believe in Apocalypse you can learn from him, but there isn't really any massive story section after those games. He's within a multitude of games, but he just doesn't play another large story role outside of the original trilogy, and obviously Devil Survivor 1. But still, that's a lot of games to be within. He is within the Raido Kuzunoa games. Again, he's not a focal point or anything, but he is in those games. And I think it's really cool that we get to see a character like that, who's one of the biggest legends in mythology, at least in Norse mythology. He's a comic book superhero. I mean, this guy is all over media. He's not just a one and done type of character, which really adds to his appeal and really shows how prevalent he is in pop culture and in mythology. And so that's pretty much it on Thor. Those are his iterations in the game. I hope we see more of them because, quite frankly, he's a great character and someone who's a mainstay in the Megaten gaming franchise. Moving forward, I'm thinking about a few different demons that fall under this realm of being utilized in most of the games. Still going to do some research to find some that really are practical to the story and hopefully ones that aren't too obvious. I obviously want to give you guys stuff you don't know, or maybe didn't know, or maybe didn't line up, or overlooked it. Because obviously you're coming here to enjoy yourself and find out things, not to just be told stuff you know by heart already. So I'm going to continue to do my research, try to find intricate information and take it from there. Also, remember to like, comment, subscribe on here. If I missed any game that maybe isn't translated or that I haven't played or something, just anything at all that might have had an iteration of him that I missed, please let me know. I'm happy to find out what I did wrong. Always happy to get some comments, whether negative or positive. And other than that, I would say continue to go to my Twitter at Shin Megami Rosen 20 for more information on videos you might have missed. I like putting up polls there based on videos I should do next for you guys, as well as stay on top of the Megami Tensei 2 playthrough. If you're an SRPG fan, if you're getting off that Fire Emblem 3 house kick, you got to take a look into this game. Whether you check it out for 5 minutes to get a feel for it, 40 minutes to try to see exactly how the battles work and the fusing works, or if you're watching every video for the story and to see how the alignment system and storyline works. This is a game to check out. This is not for people who don't like SRPGs, obviously, But if you're a strategy RPG fan, if you're a Devil Survivor fan, if you're a Fire Emblem fan, if you're a Tactics Ogre Battle, Final Fantasy Tactics fan, Eternal Poison fan, I mean, the list goes on and on. If you're a fan of any of those games, you need to check out what's happening in this game. This game, for its aged, this is a game that has aged well in the Megami Tensei listing. When you compare the graphics to Devil Survivor, outside of Devil Survivor being a little more anime-ish and and obviously clear, these graphics don't look like they've aged poorly in comparison. Honestly, they've aged beautifully. And I would keep that in mind when you're looking into this stuff, because this game is really a masterpiece in a lot of ways. It has its faults, flaws, but it's really fun. But anyway, this is Jay with Douchebag Brigade, and I'm out.